Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the Marvel Legends Avengers Endgame series Iron Man Mark LXXXV, which is 85, for those of you that don't know. This is part of the Thor Build-A-Figure. That's what they said it's Thor Build-A-Figure, but it doesn't look anything like Thor to me. I don't recognize that as Thor, so I don't know what they're talking about, but that's what it says. So if you're looking for it, that's what this is. This is the Iron Man from the last movie, which came out what feels like forever ago. So you would expect this to be a little bit more accurate, and it's not too far off. It's probably more accurate than most of their figures, so that's a good thing. But there are definitely some issues we need to talk about. So let's go ahead and get it off the stand and take a closer look. This guy stands just about 17 centimeters, which makes him pretty close to 6 3/4 inches, which is your standard fare for Marvel Legends. That's fine. I personally love this look for Iron Man because it's based on the same look that we got a figure of recently, which was an exceptional figure. That classic gold and red look with the gold shoulders. Very, very pleased that they went with this look for the movie, and so I'm happy about that. And I was really looking forward to this figure because it looked like it was going to be pretty good. It's not just a repaint of the more recent, or the other recent release that was the 80, just 80, right? I think it was just 80. The other one that had like the red parts. Oh, the nano suit. Everybody hated the nano suit. Anyway, this is an upgrade from that, and I liked it. I don't know, guys. This is like, it's kind of good. Like, there's some definite good stuff about it. They got a lot of the proportioning right on this guy. It looks pretty good. I think the thing that's just really destroying the look for this guy, and I say destroying, that's a bit of hyperbole, is yeah, he doesn't technically have shoulder pads in this suit, but Hasbro just kind of noped the shoulder pad shape out completely, and it does give him kind of a sloped shoulder, and it looks kind of blah, kind of wimpy, kind of unimposing. And the problem is that on its own wouldn't be that bad, but they accentuated that by shaping the chest the way they did. This V shape right here is supposed to be significantly more pronounced, with these guys much farther in. The way they did it, his ribcage area sticks out a lot. It is far more pronounced than even the chest area. So it gives him this kind of dumpy look. It's not terrible. I'm not saying it ruins the figure, but not having that huge lower area right there on that upper part would make him look a whole lot better. Otherwise, they did a pretty good job. I mean, there's lots of gray mixed in, lots of little bits of the silvery gray, and that really makes the figure stand out. It looks really nice. It's mostly really clean, especially for a Hasbro figure. It's very nicely done. So we know they can do it, so it's just kind of surprising when they do. But they did a good job. The red is kind of shiny. The gold is metallic. All in all, pretty clean. They decided to paint the chest repulsor thingy just solid white with like gray speckling on there. I don't know what happened there because he's all blue, like bluish white, like almost this color. Like this is kind of it, only probably too green. Anyway, they just did white, and that looks like ass. And then for his eyes, it should be the same way as the chest, except the eyes are also just white. And also they like angled him down and didn't paint them in the proper spot, so he looks kind of like he's frowning instead of not, which is unfortunate because making the eyes look right would have gone a long way to make the figure look right. But he looks sad. He looks like the newest Black Panther movie figure, which also looks sad because that whole suit design looks sad. And then the other thing they did was not paint the lights on his shoulder area. They sculpted them there, but they just filled them in with red instead of painting the lights there, which I can't understand why. There's no reason to do that other than lack of accuracy. So that's definitely a bummer. Aesthetically speaking, it has some really standout spots. The paint job overall is super nice, but having the no chest, the weird eyes, and the no things here, it's just really, really lacking. They didn't paint the repulsors on the hands either. That's disappointing. Kind of a weird issue here. Not a deal breaker, but definitely not great. I mean, they've made some really great, like that Mark 7 as part of the anniversary set. That was pretty exceptional. This figure is not far off, but it definitely is held back by a few issues. So I'm only going to give it a 7 for the aesthetics. It's definitely a bummer that he looks kind of dumpy. Once you pose him, though, it'll probably go away. As far as accessories go, we have no Tony Stark head. Whatever, we do get this gauntlet, the big one. I don't know if it's for Hulk or Thanos specifically, because I don't have either of those figures anymore. It shouldn't be for Hulk, because we don't have that Hulk. So I'm guessing it's for Thanos, but I don't have it, so I can't say for sure. I'm sorry. We do have alternate hands. We have the 2 fist hands, and then we have 2 repulsor hands which have holes in them for the repulsor blasts, of which we have 4. 2 for the hands, 2 for the feet. They're nicely done, a little bit green for my liking, but they are good enough. So accessory-wise, I'll give it a 7 out of 10. No Tony Stark head's a bummer. And yeah, I know it doesn't make sense to give him a gauntlet in a non-damaged suit, but I still think I would have enjoyed one. And you know it. You know you would have too. Alright, so on to the articulation. They have had a lot of trouble with articulation on Iron Man figures from the movies. How did they do on this one? First of all, this part is really tight. Or wait, it just doesn't go back very far? No, it goes. I guess it's just tight. Alright, well let's try it again. Let's see if we can... Oh, just with the head on it, it doesn't go back that far. So he doesn't look up all that far. It'll probably do. I mean, it's not terrible. Yeah, it's okay. Looking down is fine. Rotation's fine. No attitude because it's a straight peg. Kind of a unique choice. So the neck's okay. Shoulders, let's see. How do the shoulders work? They do better than horizontal. I love it. And there's not a giant gap in there either, like that new Doctor Doom Iron Man figure, and that, which is based on that old suit, which has a huge gap in the shoulder. You don't need it. No gap is fine. You can see it works just fine the way it is. What they do kind of weird here is there is a big gap going around the bicep. I can't figure out why, because it doesn't need that clearance anywhere. I don't get that. There's a huge gap. I mean, relatively speaking. There's a big gap going around, so I don't know what's up with that, but it does work. Double jointed elbows, they work just fine. Wrist swivel and hinge, that's just fine. Diaphragm joint works pretty well. I'll take it. Paint and sculpt is continued all the way through. It does give him kind of a weird angular bend, but it'll do. It's okay. And then for the hips, we have had a lot of trouble with hips. Let's see. Well, that still sucks. It's just amazing to me that they haven't figured out how to do hips yet, and they've been making Marvel Legends for like 100 years now. And they do go out to the side pretty far, better than most Spider-Man figures, that is. Thigh swivel is fine, double jointed knee is fine, and then for the ankle, we have, is it a true ankle rocker? I can't tell if that's going to move in there. I don't think it will. We do have this kind of swivel down here, which is off at a pretty severe angle. The foot does go back. It's fighting me, but it should go back plenty. There we go. So you can bring the foot pretty far back. It's going to have to overlap. Let's see if it goes forward. It can go forward a little bit, not all that far though. And this feels like it should rotate like a ball hinge, but it doesn't want to, so I'm guessing it doesn't. So the ankles are only acceptable. Articulation overall in this guy, some parts are good. The shoulders are really good. Torso's alright. Yeah, it's alright. I'll give it a 7.5 for the articulation. It's not bad. It's not great. Man, I just wish his shoulders were a little bit broader and his chest more V-shaped the way it's supposed to be, because, like, you can see, it's still really appealing. It's very close to being awesome. But then it also just is so slightly off. Slightly off, it's a little weird. But it's still pretty darn good. So, my final verdict on this figure is... it definitely could be better. In a few ways, severely. But mostly it's pretty solid. So I'm going to give it a 7.5? 8. I'm going to give it an 8. I think it's fair enough to give it an 8. But I definitely would like to see a few things improved. If they ever reissue a Spider-Man... a Spider-Man? What the hell? An Iron Man figure. That's his name. An Iron Man figure like this again. I would like to see some tweaks. Because this giant ribcage thing throws off the proportions a lot. And not having any shoulder meat. We need some more meat there in the shoulders. But otherwise, it's pretty cool looking. I like it. Personally, I like it a whole bunch. But the reviewer part of me is like, well, it's got a lot of things wrong with it. So, there you go, guys. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. But make sure you check out my other videos. I have thousands already on the channel. New ones just about every single day. So make sure you come back for that. And in the meantime, keep collecting.